Last Sunday, I took my 83-year-old dad to the hospital for his annual checkup. He seemed perfectly fine. No complaints, no pain. But a single lab value was just outside the normal range, and suddenly, the doctor was recommending more tests. Dad's face went still. Quietly, he asked, "Is something wrong? Do I have a disease?" That question, so soft and uncertain, cut through me. What had been a routine exam turned in a moment into a seed of anxiety. The doctor leaned forward and said gently, "At this age, we need to be selective. Most normal ranges are based on younger adults." My heart skipped. We'd always believed that the more tests, the better. But I realized then how that belief might bring fear and burden to my aging parents' peaceful lives. I learned something that day. Pursuing health isn't always about chasing numbers. It's about preserving peace, dignity, and genuine well-being. Your parents' calm, their quality of life, and your own future years, they matter more than any lab result. Now, let's begin the real story. Part 1. The familiar trap, when routine screening does more harm than good. One morning, Dad sat quietly at the breakfast table, not his usual cheerful self. Instead of coffee, he simply mumbled, "Where's the blood pressure cuff?" A small moment, but when I checked, his reading was elevated, his face etched with concern. But in that moment, I wasn't scared. In fact, I felt clarity. This small routine could change everything. High blood pressure, often called the silent killer, strikes without warning. Especially in seniors, arteries lose elasticity and blood pressure can spike easily. Many elderly people suffer strokes or heart attacks with no prior symptoms. So now, every morning, Dad measures his pressure and shares the reading. Initially, it seemed pointless to him, but now he proudly says, "It's 127. Today, that's good." That simple habit isn't just tracking numbers, it's tuning into his body's language. It gives him control, calm, and awareness in a way no routine panel could match. A friend told me how their father collapsed unexpectedly, but had been dizzy for days and ignored it. His next formal screening was 6 months later, too late. I learned then, it's not about managing metrics. It's about noticing how your body is talking to you. Interesting insight: recent research in neuropsychology shows that seniors who daily check their blood pressure, treating it as an act of self-care, tend to maintain stronger cognitive function over time. It's less about the numbers and more about the mindful rhythm. Yet when such simple routines are ignored, the consequences can be serious. According to the American Heart Association, 62% of seniors with hypertension experience emergencies due to poor management. Hypertension isn't scary because it hurts. Its danger lies in how quiet and subtle it can be. In our home, that 1 minute with the blood pressure cuff sets the tone for the day. If the number's okay, Dad smiles. If it's high, we sip water, then take a slow walk. That habit has become more than health monitoring. It's a language of love between us. That small repetition shapes the quality of life. Up next, blood sugar, and walking an example that may just transform someone's life. Part 2. The hidden cost of overdiagnosis. Truth behind the numbers. One warm morning last August, "Mr. Harris, Our 76-year-old neighbor smiled and said, "My morning walks." "That's my diabetes medication." I thought he was joking. But behind that grin was a year of transformation. Diagnosed with type 2 diabetes at age 75. Mr. Harris chose walking over pills. He committed to 30 minutes a day. 9 months later, his blood sugar had returned to normal, all without medication. Diabetes is tricky. Especially in older adults, it's often silent, showing no obvious symptoms. But its long-term consequences, vision loss, nerve damage, kidney failure, can be devastating. What most people overlook, however, is this: controlling diabetes isn't always about piling on medications. For seniors, it's about gentle, steady adjustments to daily life. A long-term study out of Kyushu University in Japan found that over 40% of adults over 70 could manage blood sugar through diet and walking alone. That study changed how I view treatment, especially for the elderly. For them, movement can be more powerful than medicine. Still, it's not just about getting up and walking. Mr. Harris had knee pain at first, so he found flat trails, walked slowly, matched his steps to his breath, and he listened, truly listened to his body. After checking his blood sugar one morning, he frowned and said, "It's high today. Must have been the peaches I had last night." That kind of awareness, gentle, daily, unafraid, is rare. One time, his doctor suggested going back on meds. Mr. Harris just smiled and said, "Pills don't know my body like I do." That shook me. How often do we ignore our own signals just because a lab report says so? Managing diabetes in older age isn't just a medical issue, it's about rhythm. Consistent meals, light movement, less stress. Mr. Harris showed me it's not about hitting the perfect number, it's about predictable, calm routines. Why am I telling you this? Because too many seniors are adjusting their medications every few months, but not their lifestyles. And yet the simplest things, a half-hour walk, slightly smaller portions, fewer processed carbs, can lead to profound change. As Mr. Harris told me, "My feet fixed my blood sugar." That wasn't just a clever phrase. It was the voice of someone who dared to listen to his body and trust it. And now, let's turn to an even quieter danger, one that many don't notice until it's too late: osteoporosis. Part 3. When unnecessary tests hurt the mind. First, when someone hears osteoporosis, many brush it off with, "It just makes bones a bit weaker old age," right? I used to think that way too. But my mother's experience shattered that illusion. One winter day at age 67, she slipped while tending her balcony plants. She instinctively braced herself and broke her wrist clean through. What seemed like a simple fall turned into a diagnosis: osteoporosis. A doctor said, "Your bone density is about half that of a woman in her 30s. That stunned our family. Osteoporosis is a silent thief. No pain, no warning. Yet steadily gnaws at your bones until one minor slip causes a fracture. And the aftermath can be catastrophic. Bed rest leads to muscle loss, emotional depression, even heart strain. It all stems from that one fragile bone. But there's hope. Osteoporosis can be detected early and managed. My mother began daily calcium and vitamin D, walked outside for sunlight for 10 minutes daily, and changed her diet: anchovies, tofu, eggs every meal, and strictly less salt. Through this process, I learned one truth: bones grow with movement and sunshine. No activity weakens them. and without light, calcium isn't absorbed. Many seniors simply don't realize their sedentary habits are literally weakening their bones. Also, many believe osteoporosis is a woman's disease, but men are vulnerable too, especially those with histories of smoking, heavy drinking, or crash dieting. Tests for bone density aren't trivial. They can determine whether someone spends months in bed or enjoys walks with grandchildren. My mother is now 78, still tending her plants, still active because we caught it in time. Next, I'll tell you why loss of hearing and vision can quietly damage not just senses, but the heart and mind too. Part 4. 5 essential tests every senior needs. During my last visit with Uncle Sam, he sat quietly at the dinner table. Conversations swirled around him, yet he barely spoke. At first, we thought he had just grown quiet with age. Over time, we realized the truth: he no longer heard or saw well. As we age, vision and hearing fade as naturally as gray hair. But that loss isn't benign. It can take away connection, isolate people, and even accelerate memory decline. In Uncle Sam's case, hearing loss made him crank up the TV volume and avoid family conversations. He insisted, "It's just my ears failing." Yet in his eyes lay loneliness. Once he accepted a hearing aid, things changed. His smiles returned. He rejoined family chats and looked forward to gatherings. That little device became his reconnection to life. Vision loss works the same way. Age-related cataracts or macular degeneration slowly blur the world. My grandmother adored reading, but as her vision deteriorated, so did her joy. Thanks to early screening, she had cataract surgery and later said, "It's like the world turned bright again." Her quality of life was restored. Hearing and vision aren't just senses, they're your windows to the world. When those windows cloud over, the mind and spirit can darken too. Studies confirm hearing loss increases dementia risk because less sensory input and fewer social interactions slow the brain. We often dismiss these issues as minor inconveniences of aging. But the truth is that neglecting them can plunge seniors into isolation and emotional decay. That's why hearing and vision tests aren't optional. They're essential. Don't delay. Protect those windows while you still can, because preserving these senses is also preserving the heart. Part 7. Loneliness is a disease. The power of social connection. When I saw my uncle for the last time, he sat silently on the living room sofa with the TV on, but he looked through it, not at it. My hearing's gone. Even closed captions don't help. I just leave it on. That sentence sank into my heart. He wasn't just losing hearing, he was disconnecting from the world. Aging brings natural decline in hearing and vision, but too often we shrug it off. We tell ourselves, if I can't hear, just turn it up. Or if I can't see, well, use a magnifier. But day by day, those small losses build walls of isolation. My uncle resisted hearing aids at first. I'm too embarrassed to wear one. But over time, he spoke less, withdrew, and faded from family conversations. After wearing a hearing aid, everything changed. He laughed, more participated in dinners again, and the living room regained its warmth. Loss of senses is more than physical. It can erode your mind and spirit. Studies show untreated hearing loss increases risk of cognitive decline and dementia, while vision decline can lead to social withdrawal and depression. My grandmother was an avid reader, but cataracts made reading painful. After early detection and surgery, she said the world looks brighter again, and her mood and energy rebounded. Hearing and vision are not just tools, they are bridges connecting us to others. When those bridges crumble, loneliness can follow. But assistive devices and small lifestyle changes can rebuild them and restore more than sight and sound. They restore belonging. My uncle now listens to radio each morning and eagerly attends community group gatherings. I can hear the kids. Again, I can't wait for the next event, he told me. Those simple words made my heart swell. One small device helped him reclaim his later years. Part 8. The real meaning of health aging with purpose, not just years. At first, I thought my mother was just tired after Dad passed away. But one night, while tucking her into bed, she whispered, "Lately, I don't know why I'm living anymore." It broke me. Her body looked fine, and yet the shadows in her heart were deep. Depression in older adults is often dismissed. Phrases like, "they're just old," or "it'll pass," hide a painful truth. Emotional distress can quietly destroy every part of life. It saps energy, disrupts sleep, dampens appetite, and erodes immunity. And when left unaddressed, it can dismantle physical health. After undergoing screening and starting therapy, my mother gradually rebuilt her routine. She rose every morning to open the windows, listened to music, cooked small meals, and even started writing again. I taught her to keep a simple daily gratitude journal. One good moment, one thing to be thankful for. She was reluctant at first. She said, "I'm not a kid." But over time, she looked forward to it. Her eyes regained light. She started calling old friends. She smiled again. Mental well-being is not optional. It's foundational. When the mind heals, the body often follows. That's why I began treating emotional checks like vital health screening. Pay attention to mood thoughts, desire to live. My mother also started volunteering at a local library, reading to children. She felt unsure. At first, can I really do this? But seeing children's bright faces reignited something in her. I still matter, she realized. That sense of purpose, I believe, defines real health, not simply living longer, but living meaningfully. So I ask, what is health? Is it the absence of disease? Or is it waking up with hope, moving with intention, laughing freely, feeling connected? Today, more than ever, we must shift from chasing numbers to cherishing connection and meaning. Not all tests bring value. Some bring stress. But choosing routines and actions grounded in purpose builds lasting well-being. I'd love to hear from you. I choose life with purpose. If this touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. If you know someone who needs to hear this, send it along. Which life do you choose? 1. Chasing numbers. Or 2. Living connected with meaning.